Hello, and welcome to Charner Marine Laboratory. We are the Little Red Aliens, here at the third session of the IMBRC Summer School, and our study had the goal of investigating the impact of an invasive red algae on a generalist grazer's diet. Our hypothesis stated that due to the chemical characteristics of the alien species, Bonmesonia hamifera, our grazers would feed more on the native species, Cerarium virgatum. We wanted to use isopods, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. The first days were spent strenuously sampling our study species, the invasive algae, the native algae, and the isopods. Our first lesson was networking, as our initial impasse was that we could not identify our alien species. After a whole afternoon, we had not found anything on our samples. This was until we talked to Dr. Swantje Enge. She patiently explained to us what to look for, and after that, success! Our second lesson was adaptability. Against all information collected from scientists and scientific articles, isopods were nowhere to be found. We quickly changed to what we were finding to be more common: sea slugs. A quick study showed us that they could not be used to see grazing on red algae, as it is not in their diet. So again, we changed the star of the documentary to the periwinkle snail. However, Google lies, so we did use the cute Elysia viridis as well. We set up two palatability experiments with different quantities of algae and control groups without grazers. We calculated a palatability index by standardizing the consumed algae with the control group. Additionally, we quantified the weight gained by the snails, the amount of slugs on the algae, the amount of lost algae, and compared the results in a statistical analysis. Both experiments were set up to best accommodate our grazers. We ran non-parametric statistical analysis on our measurements, attempting to find a significant difference based on algae diet. None of the data fit a normal distribution, other than the weight gain of the snails after a log transformation. Additionally, we ran a Pearson chi-square test to see if the count of slugs were dependent on the algae type. We found a significant difference in the algae consumed by the slugs, indicating more invasive algae consumed than native. However, a measurement error of the algae wet weight made this data unusable. A significant difference was found in the palatability index of the snails, showing that they preferred a native algae over the invasive algae species. None of the other statistical analysis showed a significant difference between the invasive algae and the native algae. Finding no significant difference on our measurements for the slugs told us that they had no inherent distaste for the invasive algae species. While measuring errors could have contributed to this conclusion, several scientific studies suggest that the Elysia viridis is able to adapt to handling toxins of algae. The slugs showed a preference for the native algae, a preference that might have been more prominent if we had included a starvation phase in our experiment, as many other papers have done. Additionally, a longer-running study could have highlighted its true preference. As the study ended, we concluded that some grazers are able to adapt to invasive species, while others are more likely to be at a disadvantage. More studies must be done on the subject, however. That would have to be up to another team. The Little Red Aliens quickly dissolved after summer school. They were last heard saying, "We are simply storming." No animals were harmed in the duration of the experiment. The same cannot be said for students who all suffered mental and physical afflictions.